Hey there everybody, Pop on Top here. Welcome back to some more Fallout 4 mods. In today's mod, we have real throwing weapons. So these are, throwable weapons, which we had in Fallout New Vegas. Usually the throwing spears, you all kinds of throwing weapons. I can't think of a throwing weapon besides grenades that you have in Fallout 4. So we have a ton here, like a literal ton of throwing weapons. And we're going to go through all of them. We're going to show off how to craft each and every one of these things. We're going to try to throw them at something. We're going to try to use the unique ones in a way in combat so we can see how they function. Obviously, we start here with the fidget spinner. We're going to throw a fidget spinner at people. It's a shuriken, but also a fidget spinner. So we'll craft 5 of those. Each of these crafts 5 as far as I know. We have a food paste pie. So, who's got 2 thumbs and found a use for food paste? That's right, this guy. Low damage, 100% chance to stagger. So obviously you have to check that. 14 damage is not any at all. But if you can guarantee a stagger, hit him with the pie, stagger him, switch to a gun, bam bam, right? Maybe. We'll try that out. We got regular shurikens of 4 different varieties here, as you can see in the preview image there. Just different shapes of the shurikens. We're going to craft one of each of those too. This is the stiletto shiv. With time and imagination, anything can be a throwing weapon. 57 damage, 702 range. We'll see. Throwing fork. Yes, I said throwing fork. Don't you know who the blue Raha is? It could put your eye out. Like, some of these are references and stuff. The throwing stiletto. Plain old boring throwing knife for the plain old boring wastelander. That'd be you. We got a thunder stick. This is artillery flare. These explode on impact. But they're different varieties, so there's different ways essentially to craft them. So if you have artillery flare, you can make that go boom. 28 damage. I think it's going to do more than that, but maybe not. We'll see what happens when we hit the damage measuring target with it / enemies. You got the baseball grenade. So you craft a baseball grenade with the adhesive, screw wood, and you make throwing spear that go boom. Cryo grenade version, right? Frag grenade version. There's a nuke grenade version. I don't have a nuke grenade right now, but you can imagine. I mean, there's a lot of radiation damage. I try to get all these things. There's a pulse grenade version. There's a synth relay version. Does that like summon a synth? Like, does it do what the grenade does? We have to test these things out. Throwing a regular combat knife like Rambo. And Diamond City Stiletto, crafted by the Kings of Old. Gift from the citizens to the guards. Sure. A harpoon. Why not? Broken fusion core harpoon. It does a lot of damage. So we'll see how that works. We have to craft these ones. I don't know how to get EM discharge harpoon. So we'll not worry about that right now. Regular looking hatchet. It says finally a normal looking weapon in this mod. There's a couple other ones in there. Combat knife and stuff. Raider hatchet. Raider shiv. A saw blade. You just throw at people. Be the Bob Vila of the Wasteland. That's an old reference, right? Home Improvement, right? Isn't that like, it's a long time ago for me. Switchblade still illegal in the Northeast. That's very true. We could throw a shoe, right? Low damage, 100% chance to stagger. Takes bad presidents by surprise during press conferences. That's a reference to George Bush. W. Bush. Getting thrown a shoe at him. Takes 3 leather. Make that one. A stiletto shoe. This was natural progression. You can't blame me. Yep. I mean, it's just more shoe, right? And then we got the tin can thunder stick. So we throw that. Those explodes, I guess. I guess we put the exploding stuff in the tin can, the fertilizer oil, and I don't know, go boom. The wrench knife, it's a wrench, and it's also a knife. It says those disciple girls are crazy. And the Diamond City Tomahawk. I came here to give close haircuts and chew bubble gum. Sturdier construction than the throwing variant. That's a melee version. Okay. And then the thrown version. So you can actually get a melee weapon out of this too here. That's interesting. And then you can make a thrown one. An EM field. Electromagnetic field. This requires blacksmiths and science. We're getting sciencey here with our things. Not the Book of Eli Blade, but it is. Just a Wakizashi, tiny little. This is the. Yeah, okay. It says the finest German engineering. This is a Japanese, small short sword katana type weapon. We got that. Now, as you see here, okay, real throwing weapons, lots of them. We just got all of them here. I might even be like close to over encumbered. Not quite. I have a lot of carry weight, but like we're gonna throw like one of each of these. So we have an artillery signal flare. These are supposed to go boom. I'm really worried about hitting Sheffield with this thing, but we can see. Does that signal artillery strike? That's what it does. Okay, so I don't have any artillery set up or nothing, so that's not going to do anything. It's just sitting here doing what it does. That's fine. But you could do that. That's an interesting thing. So instead of just throwing it, you throw it in a spear. Technically, I wonder if you could stick people with it, right? Because it did say in the mod description that you can stick people with these things. I got a throwing radius, right? So let's see if I can stick. That's just a baseball grenade. It's supposed to be a spear, isn't it? It just threw like a baseball grenade. That's a regular base because I threw a baseball grenade. I didn't throw the spear. I'm messing this up a little bit. There we go. Combat knife. Let's see. So we throw the combat knife. That doesn't get a throwing arc, though. Did I hit it and did it stick? It did hit it. I don't think it's going to stick to maybe my damage measuring target because that's a modded thing. But if I, like, threw this one in a wall. Because it's technically counting as a mine. And I could take it back. Okay, that's a cool thing. That's okay. Combat knife is already cool. Let's see. We're throwing a shoe, right? This is supposed to cause stagger. Does it stick in there? That absolutely sticked in there. It still looks like a knife, though. That definitely looks like a knife and not like a shoe. I mean, obviously it's going to count like a shoe. This is the tomahawk melee weapon from Diamond City. It says right on there, right? That's cool. I mean, it's cool, right? It's cool that there's a melee version and a throwing version. And the throwing version does look the same, and it sticks into things, and that absolutely works. That's very cool. We're going to obviously try to do my best to test all these out in combat. Does this look like a fidget spinner and a shuriken? It does fucking, it does. So obviously you just get a crazy amount of options. I'm going to throw a food pie. Is it splat? It just kind of fell on the ground. I could pick it up. It's a pie plate. That's not a pie, is it? It doesn't count. It doesn't give me my ammo back. It just gives you the plate back. That's interesting. So we got harpoons here. Harpoon should go stick. It does. Very good. Jolly good. But they don't count as grenades in the sense that you don't get the throwing arc, which is kind of lame. That did stick. I did hit it, but it doesn't stick into this particular thing. I don't know if they're like falling on the ground or what. It did do the damage though. 215 is quite a bit. And we're gonna have to do lots of waves of shit to just show off that you can kill these things. A broken fusion core version. I'm like really sketched out about this, but so that just says radiation damage in the area. If I get close to this, is it irradiating me? No. It just irradiates the target if hit. And I got it back. I should have it back. So maybe that's how we get the empty fusion core, because we emptied the fusion core. Okay, so that's how we do that. And then the EM field. So that should like shock target. It's a pulse grenade that you throw. That's very interesting, right? So we gotta save the empty fusion core one. We got throwing hatchets. Let me get that queued up here. That's a regular looking hatchet, obviously a little bit different. Give my shit back. There we go. There's a regular looking hatchet. It's just a hatchet, not this cool little like advanced like hollowed out for lightness hatchet. What else we got here? I'm looking. I got a lot of things in my inventory. Not the Book of Eli blade. This only crafts 3. But that is you know, the Book of Eli blade, and it did stick into that wall. We're gonna have to test out my throwing skills here because I'm gonna have to try to hit targets with all of these things, or at least some of these things. Right? We're not gonna literally use all of them. But there's the Raider hatchet. You can see what it visually looks like. I mean, obviously most of these are just come down to visual differences and different crafting requirements, maybe slightly different damages and stuff. Obviously, you probably always want to craft the most effective ones. There's a Raider shiv sticking right in that wall. The fact that they stick and that you can pick them back up is well-designed mod stuff. Like it adds new function to the game that previously wasn't there, right? That's good shit. Like obviously we have every different variant of the shuriken here, so we'll just like throw one there, throw one there, right? Like, and obviously you could do this, right? I don't know why we have like all the shurikens equipped. It says like they didn't like de-equip. Like I don't know what exactly is going on. Is it throwing like all the same shuriken? Does it count as one ammo? No, those are different shapes. There's like the star pattern. There's like more of a cross pattern. There's, you know, there's different looking shurikens there. There's all 4 cosmetic differences. I believe they're functionally all the same. 86 damage, right? A stiletto shiv, right? Which is, you know, is what it is. There it is, sticking right in there. Like obviously it's a lot. It's a lot. Switchblades. We got anything? A throwing fork. Obviously, we haven't even done the shoe yet. The fork, actually, a fork is a fucking fork. You could just throw a fork at people. Why not? It's not going to do a lot of damage. 23, that's not going to hurt nobody. The unfortunate side effect, this is throwing shoe. The shoe does not stick, but it does cause stagger, just like the pie does. And you can pick it back up still. The stiletto shoe, right? Little wakizashi. Thunderstick, artillery flare, so that's going to cause artillery. Oh, we just threw the artillery flash. So, like, is this going to go boom? This is supposed to go boom. I'm really concerned about this going boom, but let's just get it over there. That was the one that we had of those, I guess. And these only craft 1 at a time because they're probably pretty good, right? They go boom. That's a throw. Okay, so we threw the baseball grenade. That's a throwing baseball grenade that throws a different way. Cryo version. I mean, so far, so good, right? Frag grenade version. So, obviously, you can turn your grenades into throwing spears, which is kind of cool. I mean, I imagine... Because you can see with the grenade arc, the way your character throws a grenade in this game is kind of up and then down, right? Like it falls. This has less drop off over distance. We could maybe see. Do we have like a long range sight line? Like if I just yeeted it way over there, as high as I could, how far would that go? Way over there. Like see, it's like flat. Like it's a way longer throwing arc. Just gonna summon in some sense. That's what sensory. It did just summon in a sense. Okay, well, eat my tin can. It's fucking great mod. This is a great mod. I love this mod already. This is good. This is good shit. Eat a dick sense, man. And I got wrench knives. Okay, we got a lot of things. Obviously, we got a decent idea what some of those things do in combat. So we could do some of these other things in here too, right? So we could do. Obviously, it's got its own section at the chemistry station. We got the other ones down in here that we couldn't do before, like the broken fusion core. So that's how you can recraft. You can refill them essentially with another fusion core. And the EM field, same thing. You refill it. This is essentially a refill option, right? I really like the exploding ones. Obviously, that's going to get me killed potentially and stuff like that. That's cool. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Like, and some of this is really basic. Like, obviously, the fidget spinners are like plastic and steel, and the regular shurikens are just 2 steel. And you can craft an 86 damage throwing weapon that I imagine works stealthily. We're going to have to test that out in some combat as it is. It's a lot. You guys, it's a lot. This is a craft. Unfortunately, the only unfortunate thing about this mod is in Fallout New Vegas, when you had a throwing weapon, it counted, and any other grenade, just like all the old Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, when you had a throwing weapon, it counted as your primary weapon. It wasn't a separate spot that you, like, use the right bumper on your controller instead of the right trigger. But if you make it a primary weapon, then you could use it in VATS, and then you could throw a shuriken at like a head and go for the headshot, right? Simpler, like that'd be cool. And then obviously sneak attacks become easier because you can use VATS to make sure that you're hitting. You can guarantee a crit, that kind of thing. Because you can't currently use these in VATS. It's like there's a lot of that would be the only thing that would actually make this better, because this mod is amazing though. It is very good. The fact that you get so many throwing weapon options. Obviously it's quite a large mod. We're talking about 80 something megabytes here, I believe, something in that range. But you really get every different possible type of throwing weapon, and you get one melee weapon and every different possible throwing weapon you could possibly ever need. Like a huge amount of variety, right? Like it does. I mean, you essentially trade one grenade for one throwing spear, but like I showed, the spears go much further than the grenade ever would, right? We'll show that off one more time just in case you guys forgot what this is like, and then we're gonna go test it out in some combat, like some actual live stuff. So I saw this baseball grenade up at that water tower. That fucking go somewhere else? Where the shit? It was weird in third person. Let's try that again in third person too. So that should hit that? That should hit that. Obviously baseball grenades should go pretty far as it is, but that's a really good one. Let's see, the cryo will make a bigger, like, if I throw it, like, it just goes straight. Like, if I put the dot at the water tower, it hits the water tower. Doesn't it? That one maybe dropped off too much, or did it not? Does it just the effect not hit that far? No, that one definitely hit, right? Look at that reverb too. Oh man, I love all my audio mods carrying the shit out of this game for me. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, it must drop off after a certain distance, right? You'd imagine it doesn't just have infinite range, but like, if I can hit that house, like, that's effective range, okay? Like, there's only so much you can do out of it. Like, as I said, the range stat here is listed as 702, so it must not drop off for a really long time. Like, long enough that you will not see the explosion happen if you threw it, if you could find the distance that you could throw it straight with. Does that make sense? Like, if I threw it in the air, I don't think I'm going to see it go off. Like, it's just, I mean, maybe it'll drop eventually. I'm really curious to see, because it explodes on impact too, so like, we'd hear it if it landed anywhere near us where it was relevant. Watch, and Preston hasn't been saved yet, so maybe he just dies from that. I just hear nothing, right? It just fucking disappeared. It fucking left the atmosphere. That's crazy. That's a crazy weapon. That's some good shit, though. A lot of things here. A lot of things. And we're not going to test everyone out against a creature, because a lot of these are redundant. Different. The switchblade is very similar to every other throwing knife. The stiletto shiv or whatever. I don't know if the stiletto shiv still equipped, right? Like, and the shuriken's still equipped. Like, it's doing some weird things with what is equipped, because I don't know how to unequip this. Like, I have to, like, try to see, like, it just keeps equipping them, right? So, like, I equipped the switchblade. Is it the one I clicked most recently? Yeah. But then how do I unequip them? That's a weird thing, too. And then I did want to make sure that, like, third person, this looks okay. That came out, like, the wrong angle. Yeah, it's going backwards. So this doesn't work in third person at all. Like, that's not going to the wall. That just goes flying off to the right. Okay, so that's, obviously that is suboptimal. Okay, that's not, you would want it to work in third person. And for those of you that, play the game in third person, that is a big oh no, I can't use this mod at all because it literally doesn't work. I'm bleeding out of my leg. I don't know how that happened. Not in real life, in the game, but like Jesus Christ. I'm getting real sidetracked just by the silliness of all these things and just the crazy amount. I don't know how to unequip these things too, though. That's a weird bug. I just wish. I mean, it's still a great mod though. There's so many things you can do with it. I can unequip that one, but I can't. So if I just click on it again, does it throw the most recent one I clicked on? So if I click on this, it's a Diamond City Tomahawk, even though it said I was already clicked it. That one, never mind. It's definitely still the throwing knives, right? So that's a weird thing too, right? Like there's really like equipment bugs here with it, right? So like. I can unequip and then re-equip the combat knife. This should be the combat knife now. But like some of these I can't unequip and like they've been equipped, right? Like so if I equip them, that's a melee weapon, so it doesn't really matter. Like I can't I guess I unequipped that. Like I'm trying to like unequip some of these. But like some of these don't unequip very well and it's gonna be very hard to like equip them and then use them in combat because it's just like bugs out with that. So obviously there's a few bugs that can be fixed. Third person mandatorily needs to be fixed, right? It has to function in third person. Some people only play the game in third person. They should be allowed to play the game with your mod. End of discussion with that. This needs to be fixed too. Okay? Because I want to be able to throw a harpoon, but I can't even throw a harpoon because, I mean, I can equip that harpoon. Is that a harpoon? I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go test it out in some combat. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to just kind of wing it here and see what happens. It does have some bugs and stuff, but it is comprehensively large in terms of its effect on the game, right? It essentially adds a whole new weapon category. It'd be cool. The perks apply to this as well, too, though. So this is, to be fair, too. This melee perks apply to these kind of stuff. So if you have melee perks, you can get increased damage from these things because the melee perks do apply. But it'd be cool if you had like a... Obviously, it'd be difficult because the perk tree doesn't account for the fact that you can add a brand new perk to the game. But if you added a brand new perk to the game, just specifically for these throwing weapons, maybe make them so they throw farther, you know, do more damage, greater chance to stagger, whatever. Stuff that, like, you know, have its own perk category because its own new weapon type. That'd be kind of cool because there's so many of these here that you could literally base a playthrough off of it. But then also make it maybe a primary weapon and then you could throw it in VATS. Like, that would be cool too. There's some things that would be cool, but this is still great. I think it's great. I think we're going to have fun when we test it out in some combat, and I'll see you guys when we get there. Alright, you guys, pulling up here. Zombies are in arcade mode, like we do. It's raining currently in the game. Not in real life. It's actually finally gotten sunny. I appreciate that. I really do. But we're going to try some of these things. So, like, I haven't really figured out how to unequip some of these things. So, still, right? That's just, you know, it's the cost of these things. Like, because, like, everyone that I've equipped ever is still equipped. And I don't know how to unequip them. We can equip, like, a new one. We could throw wakazashis, which is, like, a similar to lots of other throwing weapons. So, we'll just start with that. We'll throw some of these exploding ones. I really want to do the stagger ones, but I don't know if we're going to be able to because of the weird bug that I'm having where if you equip like multiple of them, they stay equipped and then you can't unequip them. So we got some ghouls that should be in here shortly. And we're going to throw some wakazashis at them to start here. Obviously that did hit. Should be stuck in the ghoul. Very much is. Can you stop? I mean, that's a withered fair ghoul and it's doing a decent amount of damage. 2 of them is dead. And you can get them back, right? They're sticking in the body even where... Not just in the sense of sticking in the body, but like... actually pick upable out of the loot menu, right? So this should be a stagger. I missed, apparently. Guaranteed stagger, right? Where's my guaranteed stagger? That man got hit. Where's my stagger? Get staggered. Like, that's the shoe's not... That's not a stagger. I'm like stuck in a bad spot. What else do I got that I can actually equip? If I click that, does that equip that? No, see, that didn't equip that. Okay, there we go. Like, sometimes if you spam it, it'll work, right? So, just throw that at the corner. That totally works. This is a grenade, right? I don't have to aim it. Hey, another level up in the video. That's how much combat I do. A violent radium rifle. I mean, that's kind of a good one. Depends on how you do that. So I got the shoes back, but the shoes definitely weren't causing stagger. Let's try the pie. If we can get the pie to be equipped. Because obviously, you know, I'm struggling with some of these things. Some of these are the same. Like, 215 damage on that wrench knife is a lot, though. Why is the wrench knife so much? Because, like, some of these are really low, right? Like, the stiletto shoe. Oh, no, this throwing stiletto is a knife. That's just 57 damage. The shoe, right? Did I equip the shoe? I hope I equipped the shoe. We're going to do another wave. We're going to have to test this out for, you know, a decent chunk of time. Because there's a decent chunk of variety here. Which is really good. It is quite good. Can we spawn in the man, though? I get a little impatient when my zombies are in arcade mode. I mean, sometimes I get impatient in general. Hello, zombie. Here, that's good. So this is the guaranteed stagger. That stagger? I mean, I would consider that man pretty staggered right there, right? Like, saw blade? Can I... If you spam it like enough times, you can get it to unequipped and then equipped again, and then we can throw saw blades. 215 damage is a lot, as you kind of see there, and we should be able to get those saw blades back. Mutant Slayer's left bracer is not good, but we got both the shoe and the saw blade back. So you can throw the shoe stagger, gives you enough time to equip a different one, I guess, because you got to sit here in your inventory and eventually get it to go. I mean, this, you know, it's a little jank, but like, to be fair, I got it to work, right? I really did, right? So like, some of these are, you know, these shurikens and stuff, especially the fidget spinners. Food paste pie, I do want to throw that. I want to see if it goes splat on an enemy, right? Like if it makes a splat noise, or it's a pie, right? It's supposed to. Where'd my ghouls at? Where are my ghouls at? I want to fight them. I want to splat them with a pie. Okay, actually hit the target. That absolutely worked. That was big stagger. See, like the pie definitely knocked people over. Okay, so that's knocking them over, and then maybe we get electromagnetic field. That's a pulse harpoon, right? I mean, it's not doing a huge amount of damage to ghouls, but they are both on the ground. Yeah, that's good shit. See, like, there's some good I mean, I think the exploding ones are some of the most fun, for sure. The fusion core should heal the ghouls somewhat, right? Like, that's kind of a funny thing, too, because it does radiation damage, right? But it should also do damage. That healing him. Like, he's just kind of sitting on it. It didn't hit him. No, that definitely killed him. The 215 damage definitely killed him first. I'm out of throwing spears, that particular one. Harpoons and stuff, right, too? We got all kinds of... There's so many things to cover that, like... Most of the stuff is the same, though, right? So, like, your thrown switchblade is very similar to your shuriken. There's a different categories. There's, like, the 57 damage category. There's something, like, in the middle here. I forget, like, 86 shurikens, I guess. The saw blade does 215, which is a lot more, right? That's, like, high damage, 100 damage hatchet, right? The shiv is 57, right? So, like, different categories of damage. So, essentially, different categories of... And they're not faster thrown, like the Book of Eli, not the Book of Eli, but I guess to be fair, because copyright and stuff is 107 damage, right in that 100 damage range mark, right? The hatch is 215. We have the other hatchet too, and then the pie is obviously very low damage, but that stagger definitely worked, right? Knocked him right on his ass. Thrown harpoon, 215 damage. Goodbye, ghoul. Goodbye, other ghoul. That worked out for me just fine. And then obviously we get to go in here. I mean, you get to pick up the used ones, and the used electromagnetic ones and fusion core ones have to be refilled at the chemistry station, but you can do that at least. Do we have more combat? I didn't hear a bell. I didn't hear no bell. Is somebody still left in here? Ghouls? Ghouls. No, that's a whole nother wave. We'll do one more. I mean, but really, I think you guys get the idea of the mod. It adds a huge selection of throwing weapons. Get off me, ghoul. That we can now use to kill all enemies. I mean, as you see here, I'm pretty much functional. I mean, the ghouls, especially, ghouls aren't shooting back, so it makes it a lot easier to do there. I mean, some of these are weaker than others, right? That's, you know, the weak fidget spinners ones are going to take more shurikens than, you know, some bigger stuff. Just going to eat that. I don't want to walk so slow. Obviously, I'm getting rid of a lot of them in my inventory, and it would, you know, the cost of maintenance here. This would not be something maybe that you could actually plan a whole build around, but you could do some interesting things. Alright, I'm just trying to equip different ones. We're just throwing them. But it is a fun little mod here. I actually like this a lot. It does add, like, essentially a brand new gameplay playstyle of throwing weapons and stuff. Hello, ghoul. And not all of them, you know, are super effective. That Book of Eli blade only doing approximately, you know, 100 damage or so, 107, is not the best one. The saw blades was like, that was fun. Right, 215 damage. That's a good chunky damage. We are killing ghouls in one shot type of stuff. Not maybe you know, legendary ones, but any normal ghoul, that withered even, right? That's the hub that got stuck on the wall. And then I can come back and pick it up. That's the thing about it. Like, it's amazing. It's a good mod. The fact the functionality exists. Obviously, there's some buggy stuff with equipping them, and then third person, especially for me, just doesn't work at all. But it is still a really good mod that adds a really cool new gameplay feature of having these throwing weapons. You get huge variety of throwing weapons you can have. The pies are really fun. That stagger that just completely knocked those ghouls on their ass. Hilarious to me. You even get a melee weapon out of the deal. Very good mod. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you guys would also like to, you can leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite throwing a weapon out of this pack. Is this something you're going to check out for yourselves? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, make sure to leave a like rating down below. Greatly appreciate that. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. That way you can check out more videos from me. And pretty much other than that, you guys have a good rest of your day, whatever it may be, and I will see you in the next episode.